Have you ever wondered how a country like Ecuador, rich in natural resources, has navigated its economic journey over the past century? From the early 19th century, when Ecuador wrestled free from the grips of Spanish colonial rule, this South American nation has embarked on a tumultuous economic voyage. The immediate post-independence era was a time of political unrest and territorial disputes, laying the groundwork for future economic uncertainties. In the heart of this narrative, we find themes of economic growth, adversity, and political shifts. The 20th century saw Ecuador's economy leaning heavily on agriculture, particularly export-oriented products like bananas and cacao. The latter half of the century brought attempts to diversify through industrialization and the development of the oil sector. But with new wealth came new challenges, including socio-economic disparities and environmental concerns. Join us as we unravel the economic tapestry of Ecuador, a country marked by periods of growth, challenges, and political instability. Ecuador's early economic story is one largely written in the fields and plantations. As the 20th century dawned, Ecuador found itself heavily reliant on agriculture, with its economy firmly rooted in the fertile soil of its highlands and coastal plains. This was a nation that lived off the land, and its fortunes were inextricably linked to the success of its harvests. The focus was on export-oriented products, with bananas and cacao playing the starring roles. These weren't just crops, they were the backbone of the economy, the lifeblood that kept the country ticking. Ecuador gained a reputation as a leading exporter, its bananas and cacao beans reaching the tables of consumers far and wide. Yet this was an economy perched on a precarious precipice. The reliance on a select few commodities meant that Ecuador was vulnerable to the whims and fluctuations of the global market. A bad year for bananas or a dip in cacao prices could spell disaster for the nation's economy. It was a high-stakes game of chance, where the roll of the dice was replaced by the unpredictable nature of agricultural yields and international trade. Moreover, this agricultural dependence was not without its social implications. The land was the domain of the wealthy elite, while the rural poor, who made up the majority of the workforce, remained marginalized. Economic success stories were often reserved for the well-heeled plantation owners, while the laborers saw little improvement in their living conditions. Inequities in wealth distribution were stark, and social inequality was a glaring issue. All the while, political instability persisted, like an unwelcome guest who overstayed its welcome. Governments came and went, each promising change but delivering little in the way of stability or economic progress. The political landscape was as unpredictable as the agricultural one, adding another layer of uncertainty to the nation's economic trajectory. Ecuador's agricultural chapter, while fruitful, was also fraught with vulnerability and social inequality. This period in Ecuador's economic history serves as a stark reminder of the risks associated with agricultural dependence and the importance of diversifying an economy. The challenges of the early to mid-20th century set the stage for the changes that were to come, as Ecuador sought to navigate its way towards a more balanced and equitable economic future. As the 20th century progressed, Ecuador struck black gold, transforming its economic landscape. The discovery of oil, deep in the heart of the Amazon basin in the 1960s, was a game-changer for this small South American country. It was as though a sleeping giant had been awakened, forever altering the course of Ecuador's economic journey. Ecuador was suddenly thrust into the global stage as a significant player in the oil sector. The oil exports rapidly became a primary source of revenue, fueling robust economic growth during the 1970s and 1980s. This period, often termed as the oil boom, marked a departure from Ecuador's traditional reliance on agriculture. The nation reveled in its newfound wealth, with the oil industry acting as a catalyst for economic development and modernization. However, with this prosperity came a set of challenges. The wealth generated by the oil sector was not evenly distributed, leading to widening socio-economic disparities. The rich became richer, while the poor, particularly those in rural areas, reaped little to no benefits from the oil boom. This stark contrast in wealth distribution sparked social unrest, highlighting the need for equitable economic policies. Moreover, the environmental impact of oil extraction was of grave concern. The Amazon basin, a treasure trove of biodiversity, bore the brunt of extensive oil drilling operations. Deforestation, pollution, and displacement of indigenous communities became pressing issues, underscoring the environmental cost of economic progress. In addition, the country's heavy reliance on oil rendered it vulnerable to external market fluctuations. When oil prices soared, so did Ecuador's fortunes. But when prices plummeted, the economy took a hit. This boom and bust cycle underscored the risks of an economy overly dependent on a single commodity. The oil boom, a double-edged sword, brought both prosperity and new challenges. As we delve deeper into Ecuador's economic journey, we'll explore how the nation grappled with these challenges and sought to diversify its economy. The story of Ecuador serves as a poignant reminder that economic growth and development is a complex process, requiring a delicate balance between prosperity, equity, and environmental sustainability. Entering the final decades of the 20th century, Ecuador found itself navigating turbulent economic waters. The country was grappling with a crushing debt crisis, a challenge that was far from unique to Ecuador, but still posed a significant hurdle for the nation's economic stability. The 1980s and 1990s saw a wave of policy reforms sweeping through the country. These reforms, often imposed by international financial institutions, were aimed at stabilizing the economy. They included measures like the privatization of state-owned enterprises and austerity measures. While these steps were deemed necessary by some to ensure financial stability, they also led to a significant amount of social unrest. The tension between economic stability and social equity became a defining feature of this period. On one hand, the policy reforms were seen as much-needed tough medicine to cure the country's economic ailments. On the other hand, they were viewed as harsh measures that disproportionately affected the poor and vulnerable sections of society. Protests erupted throughout the country, reflecting a deep-seated discontent with the austerity measures. The privatization of state-owned enterprises was particularly contentious, as many Ecuadorians felt that these companies were national assets that should remain in public hands. The austerity measures were also deeply unpopular, as they often resulted in cuts to public services and increased cost of living. While the policy reforms did bring some level of economic stabilization, they also laid bare the social inequalities that had long been simmering beneath the surface. The tension between the need for economic stability and the desire for social equity was a complex issue that Ecuador had to grapple with. These turbulent years marked a significant turning point in Ecuador's economic journey. They highlighted the challenges of balancing economic stability with social equity, a theme that would continue to play out in the decades to come. The experiences of this period also underscored the importance of inclusive growth and underscored the need for policies that not only stabilize the economy but also promote social equity. These turbulent years marked a turning point in Ecuador's economic journey. As the new millennium dawned, Ecuador embarked on a new chapter in its economic narrative. The 21st century would become a stage where leaders pursued diverse economic strategies, each aiming to address the country's unique challenges and opportunities. A period of relative stability and economic growth was experienced under the presidency of Rafael Correa from 2007 to 2017. Correa's administration was marked by policies that focused on social welfare and infrastructure development. The government increased state intervention in strategic sectors, an approach that was both lauded and criticized. While it did lead to significant progress in social indicators and infrastructure, critics argued that it also raised concerns about fiscal sustainability. The reliance on oil revenues to fund these initiatives was another point of contention. After all, oil markets are known for their volatility, and an over-reliance on such a resource can be a precarious economic strategy. Fast forward to 2017, and the political landscape shifted once again. Lenin Moreno took office, ushering in a new era of market-oriented reforms. These changes were aimed at stabilizing the economy, reducing public debt, and attracting foreign investment. However, they were not without controversy. As with any shift in economic strategy, there were winners and losers, and the changes sparked debate about the best path forward for Ecuador's economy. The 21st century has also been marked by significant global events, from fluctuations in oil prices to the COVID-19 pandemic. These external factors have further complicated Ecuador's economic journey, underscoring the need for resilience and adaptability. The 21st century has seen Ecuador oscillate between different economic philosophies, each with its own set of challenges and opportunities. As we move forward, it remains to be seen which strategy will ultimately prove most effective in fostering sustainable economic growth and reducing social inequality in this diverse and vibrant country. As we stand on the cusp of the future, what lies ahead for Ecuador's economy? The country's economic trajectory will likely be influenced by a medley of domestic and global factors. Diversifying the economy beyond its oil dependency is a challenge Ecuador must grapple with. Addressing social inequalities and promoting sustainable development also remain key tasks that require urgent attention. No less significant is the role of external factors in shaping the economic outlook for this South American nation. Global commodity prices, trade relationships, and geopolitical developments all play their part. The need of the hour is strengthening institutions, attracting foreign investment, and fostering innovation to bolster economic resilience. This is a journey riddled with uncertainties and complexities, yet also abundant in opportunities. And while predicting the future is inherently uncertain, the interplay of political, social, and economic dynamics will undoubtedly shape Ecuador's economic destiny. Ecuador's economic journey, a complex interplay of factors and forces, continues to unfold, promising new chapters of growth, challenges, and resilience.